Welcome to this video about the rise and fall of NFL dynasties. Throughout NFL history, we have seen teams achieve greatness and become dominant forces in the league, only to eventually fall from grace. In this video, we'll take a look at some of the most iconic NFL dynasties, examining how they rose to the top and what led to their eventual downfall. From the Green Bay Packers to the New England Patriots, let's dive into the history of NFL dynasties. Main part: 1940s Chicago Bears, NFL champions in 1940, 1941, 1943, 1946. The T formation, introduced by coach George Halas and quarterback Sid Luckman, marked the rise of a dynasty in the NFL. With a man in motion out of the backfield, the passing game evolved, culminating in a 73-0 victory over the Washington Redskins in the 1940 NFL Championship game. However, the dynasty's fall came soon after, as the Chicago Bears lost the next three NFL championships to the Cardinals and Eagles. The retirement of Luckman following the 1950 championship loss to the Browns marked the end of an era for the Bears. 1950s Cleveland Browns, NFL champions in 1950, 1954, 1955. The birth of a dynasty. In 1946, the Cleveland Browns hired Paul Brown as their vice president, general manager, and head coach. One of his first signings was Otto Graham, who became the starting quarterback that same year. Under Brown's guidance, Graham led the Browns to their league's championship game every year from 1946 to 1955, winning 4 consecutive AAFC championships before joining the NFL. The fall of a dynasty. Following the 1955 season, Otto Graham retired, and the Browns struggled to find a suitable replacement for their star quarterback. Although the Browns won one more NFL title in 1964, they have not won a championship since then, and their dynasty came to an end. 1960s Green Bay Packers, NFL champions 1961, 1962, 1965, 1966, 1967. The rise of a dynasty. The Packers became one of the greatest teams in NFL history under the leadership of Vince Lombardi. Lombardi took over as head coach in 1959 and quickly turned the Packers into a championship team. He emphasized discipline, hard work, and teamwork, and was known for his famous quote, "Winning isn't everything, it's the only thing." Lombardi led the Packers to 5 NFL championships in 7 years, including victories in the first 2 Super Bowls. He also coached Hall of Fame players such as Bart Starr, Jim Taylor, and Paul Hornung. Fall of a dynasty. After Lombardi's departure as head coach, the Packers struggled to maintain their winning ways. Many of their Hall of Fame players retired, and the team underwent a period of rebuilding. It would take until the 1990s for the Packers to regain their championship form, with the emergence of Brett Favre and the leadership of coach Mike Holmgren. 1970s Pittsburgh Steelers, NFL champions in 1974, 1975, 1978, 1979. Rise of a dynasty. The Pittsburgh Steelers already had Chuck Noll and some of their legendary players prior to their first Super Bowl season, but the 1974 draft was a defining moment in the franchise's history. The draft brought them 4 future Hall of Famers: Mike Webster, John Stallworth, Lynn Swann, and Jack Lambert. Fall of a dynasty. The steel curtain defense of the Steelers was slowed down by injuries and age in the 1980 season. Many key figures such as Mean Joe Green, Lynn Swann, Jack Ham, Terry Bradshaw, Mel Blount, and Jack Lambert retired in the early 1980s. 1980s San Francisco 49ers, 1981, 1984, 1988, 1989. The 49ers dynasty began a year before the 1980s officially started, with Bill Walsh and Joe Montana's first season in 1979, Montana's first big comeback in a game against the New Orleans Saints in 1980 cemented his place as the full-time starting quarterback. The 49ers added another piece to their dynasty in 1985 with the draft of Jerry Rice, who would become a 3-time Super Bowl champion and a member of multiple all-decade teams. However, the dynasty began to fall apart with Walsh's retirement after the 1988 season. Montana suffered an elbow injury in the 1991 NFC Championship game against the Giants, preventing a potential third consecutive Super Bowl win. He missed most of the 1991 and 1992 seasons due to the injury. Meanwhile, Ronnie Lott left the team after the 1990 season to join the Raiders. 1990's Dallas Cowboys, NFL champions in 1992, 1993, 1995. Rise of a dynasty. The Dallas Cowboys dynasty began when Jerry Jones purchased the team on February 25, 1989. He then appointed Jimmy Johnson as the head coach and drafted Troy Aikman in the same year. Jones and Johnson traded Herschel Walker for draft picks, enabling them to build a team and eventually select Emmitt Smith and Darren Woodson. Fall of a dynasty. Jones and Johnson parted ways in 1994 after Jones was quoted saying, "Any one of 500 coaches could have won those Super Bowls." The team still won Super Bowl XXX under Barry Switzer, but he resigned 2 years later. Following that, Chan Gailey and Dave Campo eras followed, which Cowboys fans would rather forget. 2000's New England Patriots, NFL champions in 2001, 2003, 2004. Rise and fall of a dynasty. In 2000, Robert Kraft hires Bill Belichick as the coach for the New England Patriots. 1 year later, after Drew Bledsoe suffers internal bleeding, Tom Brady takes over and leads the team to its first Super Bowl victory. The Tuck Rule game in 2002 helped the Patriots advance to the Super Bowl and become a dynasty. However, controversy surrounds the game, with Raiders fans arguing that the referees made a bad call. The Patriots continue to dominate the league, winning multiple Super Bowls and establishing themselves as a dynasty. But in Super Bowl XLI, the New York Giants stunned the Patriots, ending their perfect season. Despite a good season the following year, the Patriots faced another setback when Tom Brady suffered a major knee injury in 2008. The future of the dynasty was uncertain, and although the Patriots continued to be a competitive team, they have yet to reclaim their former dominance.